I did this. Yay, that's a wonderful sound. Let's see, what do we got? Let's go here. Let's go here. Get that. Get that. Let's see, what should we talk about tonight? I'm not sure. Stuff. Give it just a little bit longer since I'm running late for my own stupid reasons. Don't get in car accidents, people. Don't get in car accidents and mess up your finger, because it's never good. It's never good at all. You do like this. See, my finger should not do that. That's not good. Not at all. Let us see here. Updated board games. Updated board games is no good, by the way, because every time you update a board game or you change the version of a board game, that's more money. That's more money that I don't have. Let's see. I'm gonna give it just a few more minutes. A little backlash talk. I'll tell you everything. Backlash. Yay. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. We'll give it another minute. Don't got too much curiosities or weird questions tonight. That's fine. You came up with all sorts of weird stuff last time. That was pretty, yeah. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. We'll start talking Backlash because why not? People that watch it later will be like, "Here's Backlash." We'll talk Backlash. We'll get started with Backlash in all of its whatever glory. See if we can find a updated card of some sort that we might have. Let's go. We'll do one more little thing here, and then we will get started, I promise. Alrighty. Here. Go here. There we go. Alright. Alright. Did you finish watching the video of the guy who reacted like a little girl watching? I did. That was pretty funny, I must admit. It was weird, but it was funny. What's that? I don't care about that. What was, let's see. I don't know who will win after Okada. I know you said Magneto, but do you think Galactus would be the next big villain? Could be. I mean, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 5 movies until we get there. So, right? Yeah. I mean, we got one Avengers movie, but we got a bunch of stuff. So, anyways, let's look at Backlash here, because let's look at what the card for Mr. Backlash will be. Newsweek. Huh. Newsweek has Backlash like stuff. That's a little weird in my weird kind of way. So, anyways, all right. Backlash. Backlash. All right. So, of course, they set up the tag team, which seemed a little weird, where you got Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley and Kevin Owens talking about going. That was. It really seems like they had plans for. Yeah, let's bring one at me too. Well, I'll get to it. It's like they don't have plans for Lashley, which is kind of weird, because it's like, why would you not? I don't know. You would think you would have more plans for Bobby Lashley. Maybe they didn't expect Brock to stay, so they were going to do something with Lashley, and then it just kind of fell apart. I don't know. I know I've heard people say that maybe they were going to do Lashley at WrestleMania, and then they changed their mind with the tag team, so with Strowman. So who will see? But I don't know. It seems like they're like have nothing for Bobby Lashley, which kind of sucks, because if you haven't seen Lashley while he was in TNA, he was actually got pretty good. So that kind of sucks. So let's see here. Of the three, which story has the most chances of ever being done on the big screen? Clone Saga should never ever touch the big screen. One More Day, maybe. Superior Spider-Man, or do all three have no chance in hell? Superior Spider-Man, maybe. I mean, that's kind of hard, but you know, I don't know. I could see. I would say of the three, Superior Spider-Man probably has the best chance. I would say. Man, my hurts. So yeah, maybe Lashley will turn heel. That would make sense. It seems really strange. I don't really get the match, because I don't. I mean, unless you're going to go farther down, unless it ends in a DQ or something, it seems like a match that they booked for no apparent reason to me. So I don't really get it at all, to be honest. Then we get everybody's favorite match on the card: Daniel Bryan versus Big Cass. Blah, because I think everybody knows Big Cass and Daniel Bryan will probably go more than one match, which is kind of stupid. So unless The Miz comes out and causes Daniel Bryan the match, then this seems very pointless to me. And I hope the fans kind of shit on it, to be honest. Even though, I don't know, it seems really stupid of a match to me to even do. Let's see. Why do DC movies aren't even great, but the Marvel movie has been just amazing? Is there something wrong with DC Comics or Warner Brothers, or what is it? I would say it's more the fact that Warner Brothers and the people that they have trying to do the movies don't necessarily understand the characters very well and are not capturing the kind of essence of the DC universe. That's what I would say. But yes, I'm not a big fan of doing the Big Cass match with Daniel Bryan, but we'll see. It seems very evident that they have no plans for Daniel Bryan, so they're just gonna like do things no one likes. You got the weird Intercontinental match because it's now an inter-brand or whatever you want to call it match with Seth Rollins and The Miz. I think this will be pretty good. I imagine Seth Rollins is going to win, which seems kind of weird that you would do. So again, it seems very strange unless you're going to do, I don't know. It seems very odd to me that you would do that with them. So, do you think the Swamp Thing series will be good? I don't know. We'll see. Swamp Thing, if you do it right, can be very good. But you have to do it the right way, which means you have to get into a lot of really mystical stuff without it being over the top. It just kind of has to be there. It kind of has to be a lot of wonder and that sort of thing. And I think Swamp Thing can work, but we'll see. We'll see. Let's see. What else is going to be on this show? Oh, Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss. I'm not really big on this match. Alexa Bliss is great for what she is. I think that, again, I don't know, because you can't really have Nia lose. Really, I don't know. It seems very strange. Again, I don't know. I'm just not big on that match. Jeff Hardy versus Randy Orton. I imagine Randy Orton's going to win. This could actually be pretty good. It'll be interesting to see. I could see their styles, even though they're kind of opposite, I think play off well of each other. So I could see this actually being a good Randy Orton match for a change. So there you go. There, like I said, I think Randy Orton will win. Camilla versus Charlotte. I figure Camilla wins with some wacky interference. So there you go. There. Then you get the match that what I call the WWE is deaf to their fans match, very much. So, but we'll talk about that. Let's see what you guys talk about. Thoughts on NXT's Blanca Belair? Hard to believe she's only been in wrestling for less than 2 years. It's also hard to know how much they protect her, as well. But we'll see. Eventually, they will let her. Probably, we'll see. If Marvel does Scroll Invasion, who would you make Scroll Invasion? I don't know. I see. That's another one. You have to that would make. Because I'm not big on Scroll Invasion, because to me you kind of need. I'd actually, I'd almost make them all Avengers, and that might be a way how you can introduce the Fantastic Four. So, don't know how good Truthslayer is, but have you been able to see about what's going on backstage? I have not been able to see that. No, it wouldn't surprise me if Samoa Joe is champion in the near future. I think that the feud with Lesnar last year, he impressed Vince McMahon. Maybe. It's funny that you talk about Joe, because we're about to talk about Roman Reigns versus Joe. Roman Reigns versus Joe. If WWE's smart, they will have Joe go over. I don't say that just as a big giant Samoa Joe fan. I say that because if you have Roman Reigns go over Samoa Joe, it just proves how deaf you are to the fans. Of course, they don't care if you listen to the their report. We'll get into the financials. None of this matters apparently, which really sucks. But you would think Samoa Joe kind of wins, and then maybe I don't know. I would have Joe win because I don't think you can have Roman Reigns win here without him even being more hated than he already is. And then you have AJ Styles versus Nakamura. This should be better. Everybody said I have not seen because I did not watch the Greatest Royal Rumble, so I don't know. Everyone said their match was better, even though the finish sucked. So this could be really good. We'll see. We might maybe what the dynamic was off at WrestleMania. Maybe that was the problem. But I hope it's good because I want people to be able to see at least a good version of Nakamura. So there is that. So there's that. Randy Orton sucks. Randy Orton can be pretty boring. I agree. I'm surprised the Briscoe brothers haven't been signed by WWE. They've not been signed because was it Jay? I think Jay got on Twitter and said some not politically correct things about gays, and yeah, that pretty much they will not sign him now. Dana Brooke, how can she be salvaged? I think maybe putting her back in NXT and and then bringing her back up in like 6 months, maybe 9 months. Do you think Braun beats Lesnar at SummerSlam, or are they going to go do Roman Reigns? I would have Braun beat Roman or Lesnar like now. So that seems way too long. But we'll see. We'll see what they do. Can't they force Bo Dallas to work out in the gym? I think genetically he's just never going to look at. If you go back and you look at like their dad, him and Bray both. His dad, while had a good physique, didn't have a great physique. And their grandfather definitely did not have a great physique either. So there you go. Thoughts on New Japan not doing great stuff? There's no card, especially after the last card, the last show, which had no card, and then you had like a really like not great show. It doesn't surprise me. I think they really need to have a great show, a great card in place, or at least a match that people want to see. So I would imagine after this weekend, we will probably get at least a match. So we will see. They still have a whiles to go. So there you go. What would you say is the worst MCU movie? Iron Man 2 is pretty bad. There you go. Have you seen Cobra Kai? I have not seen Cobra Kai. But I will probably watch it at some point. I'll probably watch it with my wife because that's something she would thoroughly enjoy. Do you think Jericho vs. Omega is overrated? Thought it was a great match, so I don't know about saying if it's overrated. I really enjoyed it myself. So even though it's a different title, do you think the reason they haven't taken the title of Brock is so he can beat Punk's record and immediately afterwards have him drop to Roman? I don't think so. I don't think so. I know I've heard people talk about that. I wouldn't think that's the issue, but you never really know. It could be, could not be. Could be. I mean, they could do that, but that'd be pretty petty, I would think. Because the thought initially was to have Brock lose at WrestleMania, so I can't see that being a thing. I think if it works out that way, it works out that way. I think Angle still has a great match in him. He might have a great match in him, but I don't. I would be shocked if we ever see it. If Disney gets the rights to X-Men and Deadpool, do you see them as part of the next Avengers movie? I see them. I guess you probably haven't been on. I think you end the next Avengers movie with like Peter waking up, and you get all like excited because like Tobey Maguire is Uncle Ben, and Uncle Ben's alive, and then he turns the corner and he's not really in like a cheap apartment. He's like in a really beautiful home, and there's a big giant TV screen, and he's looking at the TV screen, and there's Magneto, and he's giving some speech, and you are dead set in now the House of M universe. That's what I think they should do. How do I get inspiration from Masawa? Always loved Kabashi, but couldn't get into Masawa. Tried watching Masawa Jumbo last night, which must be good past rows, but I just didn't get it. It's hard to watch. Okay, if you start, what I would tell people is watch the first Masawa Kawada match. That usually that will be better. Watching Masawa and Jumbo without actually like seeing like what led up to it, you're not gonna get as much of an appreciation for it, I would say. Wrestler with the return of Cobra Kai, which is possible to be added into the mix. MMA personalities or luchadors. With return. I don't know. I haven't seen Cobra Kai, so I don't know what you're talking about, to be honest. Wrestler of the decade so far, Okada. I think that's pretty easy to say. What kind of match should Ciampa and Guerrero have to end their feud? End their feud. I don't know, to be honest. How do you? I don't know. I really don't. I don't know how you. What is the best work that Kurt Busiek has ever done? I would say like the first 12 issues of Astro City. It's pretty good. I watched the first 2 episodes. It's a Markeem! Pretty good little warning. Pretty good little point. Ciampa and Gargano should do Hell in a Cell. That would be good. That's good. Seeing Markeem's here. Yeah, I mean, that would make sense. You think Joe versus Punk matches hold up today? I think probably the hour-long match holds up. Holds up pretty well. I would say the others, I think they hold up pretty well. Remember the date of the Masao Kawada match? You said the first. Was it possibly? This possibly. That's right. That sounds right. I mean, I know 92. It would have been in 92. So I would imagine Kane will win. I will be shocked if Kane doesn't win. You think Christian is a better in-ring worker than Edge? I could see that. I wouldn't argue that. I think they're about the same. 94 is like the best one. There's no question. What did you take on the growth of wrestling fandom or independence in Japan from what you first started YouTube and now? I think that the biggest thing that has helped with like the independence and everything is just technology and the fact that you can watch everything now. Where, I mean, Markeem can talk about this too. You know, I can remember having to wait like even for like ECW tapes a good month before you could see anything. So high end is better than Joe versus Punk 2. No, I can see that because Joe versus Punk 3 definitely has the definitive end. So yeah. Thoughts on him and Hassan's WWE run? Do you think he's one of WWE's? I think he's probably the biggest what if because I think he could have been a really big deal. I really do. I think it was working. I think the fact that he was written pretty well, depending on what was going on, I think it really would have worked. The Young Bucks Bullet Club have helped make independent. This is true, but I think that's part of it. But I also think the fact that you can watch so much stuff, I think helps because I think without being able to watch everything, then the Young Bucks and the Bullet Club wouldn't really have been able to help much, to be honest. But I think part of it is also that I think it was a series of like things. I think without the Wrestle Kingdom that was actually a pay-per-view, I think that started to help. I think the fact that you now have all the streaming services, that helped. I think it's been a continuous thing. You watched the first night of. I have not watched it yet. I will watch it tomorrow. I was looking for new cars today, so yeah. Do you think Almas will be a star in WWE or just a mid-carder that no one cares about? Hopefully he's a star. They better make him a star because, I mean, they keep wanting a guy from Mexico, and he's the guy. Best storytelling promotion in wrestling, in my opinion. Chikara. I haven't watched Chikara in so long, but I could see that. I think they're probably the best at continuing storylines, so. Thoughts on the new Ant-Man and Wasp trailer? I have not seen the new Ant-Man and Wasp trailer, so I could not tell you. I think Ant-Man and Wasp looks good, though. I will say that. Why do you think Jinder Mahal didn't work as well as Muhammad Hassan did? The guy had something special in him. So much. Who, Jinder or Hassan? Hassan. The reason why Hassan was because he just was good, and it was written good, and all of that. So. For the first night of wrestling was blah. Thoughts on Gotham? I haven't watched Gotham in like forever, so yeah, I know where they're at. I like the fact that they're not scared of like running off in another direction. So and going as far away from what you think as the Batman universe as you can. I like that part of it. So, which Marvel superhero hasn't been made into a movie yet? Bunches of them haven't. Bunches. Or which ones do I think should be made into a superhero movie? Has been made into a superhero movie yet? Would be, what's a big one? Wonder Man would be good. She-Hulk would be good. All of that stuff. Do you think they will make a Mark Ruffalo? I don't think they ever will, unfortunately. I just don't. I don't think they think that the stuff is there, which kind of sucks. I would love to see him do like a Mr. Fix-It Hulk movie. That would be pretty great. That would be pretty groovy. Yeah, you could do Wonder Man and Avengers 5. And what year did you give up on TNA and lose all hope? What would that be? 2014, maybe? Maybe? Wonder Man. Yes, Wonder Man exists. He's for a long time he was kind of like Superman for Marvel, kind of in a weird, wonky kind of way, you could say. Are you watching Lucha Underground Season 4 next month? I will try very hard to watch it next year. What do you think of the Bludgeon Brothers? Bludgeon Brothers are good. I like the team. I just wish they would let them like do more. I feel like the squashes need to kind of end. I want a Hulk movie after seeing Ragnarok. That's probably the closest we'll get to Planet Hulk. Hatred, who is your favorite Fire Pro edit maker? I don't know if I have a favorite. I know the guys that have done the like Fire Pro history edit, which has like all of like they've basically taken every Fire Pro game and they've edited it to those specifications so that all of it is kind of like the same from like the different eras. I really like that edit, but I don't think I have like a favorite editor. So, but I do like that. If you're talking like that, to me is like an awesome editor. So, do you think that Nigel McGuinness could have been WWE main event caliber if he was medically cleared back into it? Yes, I do. Do you think a WrestleMania card with only 6 or 7 matches could work? Yes, if they did 3 hours again. like they, did for a while. DJKM, I don't know what DJKM is. How do you have a Venom movie without Spider-Man? Because you have the rights to do a Venom movie, and you can't do Spider-Man. That's how you do it. So, and as Venom is written now, you don't really need Spider-Man, as weird as that sounds. So, that's I could definitely see that being a thing where you don't need Spider-Man per se. So. But yes, it's a little weird. As a Spider-Man fan, it's a little weird. Isn't Venom a hero now? He's an anti-hero. Is the most prolific editor maker for historic Westeros. Well, let's look. Well, look, I can tell you because I can tell you whose stuff I've downloaded. So let's see here. Library. Fire Pro. Where's my Fire Pro? Fire Pro here. Where is it's the Stone page related community manual related archives? Where's workshop? Here we go. Browse workshop. People make weird Fire Pro edits. I would just like to point that out. Let's see. I want collections. Let's see. Most popular. What do I have? Can you look up? There we go. Yes, actually, that is who I have like most of the stuff from. So yeah, there you go. Well, it's on the Krypton. I've not seen Krypton, so I don't know. Can't really tell you. One of these days, I would like to see 2 Mexican comic book characters to be made into movies too. Just to take these Marvel. Yeah, technically he is a hero. Do you think a Spawn movie could be good? I think it could be good, but you have to do it right. Not try to cram like 50 comics into one movie. You need to basically do like from like him becoming Spawn to him getting revenge on Chapel, and basically that, and not get into the devil and not get into everything else. But that's the way a Spawn movie could work. Lost will be regarded as one of the best lightweights in the near future. Could be. We'll see. His body has to hold up. That's going to be the big thing. Not a fan of theater. And what year did you discover the dirt sheets? Did you ever call a wrestling hotline back in the day? Never called a wrestling hotline. Dirt sheets would have been like, I knew about them because it used to be, if you got the magazines, there were numbers and there were ads in the back of the magazine. So I knew about them. I didn't start like reading them until like 94, 96, somewhere in that time. What's the best 90s comic book movie? 90s comic book movie? Probably Spider-Man. Probably. Or the first, well, Spider-Man. I would say probably Spider-Man. Spider-Man 2001. Okay, so it's not Spider-Man. Geez, 90s come? Because Darkman isn't a comic book movie, or it would be that. Hmm. I don't know that. Was Ghost World in the 90s? Ooh, Ghost World might have been in the 90s. Yeah, I forgot about The Crow. Crow's pretty good. Crow is pretty good. Ghost World, if Ghost World was in the 90s, then it would definitely be Ghost World, unless you want to include some anime somewhere. Because, I mean, you had the Batman movies were pretty horrible. But Crow would be good. Was that the 90s? I thought it was like, that may be, yeah. Like Blade. Yeah, TMNT. If TMNT was in the 90s, then that would be the best one, because that's, the Blade would be close. I'm big on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. I know, because even though it's and I always say this, even though it's the cartoon characters, the story is directly from the comics, like directly from the comics. Like that whole story arc from beginning to end is right from the comics. For Fire Pro, there's a bunch of great ones, like the ability to have Royal Rumble matches with up to 100 participants. I do not use any of the mods. I really should, because my biggest issue with Fire Pro is the fact that you can't just like do the save game stuff like you could on earlier games. So I hate having to go through and like upload, like the way you have to add wrestlers. I hate that. That's my biggest complaint with Fire Pro. Besides Marvel and DC universes, is there any other comic universes? There's a whole ton. You got a ton. You've got, let's see, Top Cow. Like the different Image comics all have kind of their own universe. Valiant's a big one. Um, uh, Malibu. Um, Astro City is its own universe. Technically, Marvel Man is its own universe. I mean, you got just about a lot of like independent comics are all their own universes. But if you're talking like a lot of like stuff, um, you know, um, the old Wildstorm universe, which is now, I guess they're technically part of DC now, so that doesn't count. But yeah, all sorts of stuff like that. I mean, technically, Warhammer 40K had comics too, if you wanted to add that, but that's its own monstrosity over here. So, if you had to, would you rather take a Stan Hansen Flying Lariat or a Kobashi machine gun? I would probably take the chop, because I would be afraid that I would break my neck with a lariat. I would agree with Valiant being. I would used to say it would be Top Cow, but since the reboots, I don't necessarily agree with that. So the second reboot was pretty freaking great. I will say that. Favorite horror movie? My favorite horror movie would be probably the original. Well, I really like Hellraiser. Um, really like Hellraiser. Um, I have not read the new Witchblade series yet. Though Psycho, my favorite would probably be Hellraiser, because your favorite doesn't have to be the best. So yeah, Hellraiser. What's the best RPG video game you have played? Baldur's Gate's pretty freaking great. I will freely admit that. And Skyrim's pretty amazing. But I will say Baldur's Gate 2. I really like that because I feel like my one thing with all of the Elder Scrolls games is, well, the last two is it's too much of an open world. Though that's funny because the first one probably had the biggest open world. People don't realize that. But yeah, I would agree with the job too. Just watch Cody Ibishi. Sorry if this has been mentioned. Friday, great matches. Check him out. Cody's fantastic heel. Cody is a great heel. Cody is a amazing heel. Which resurrection did you hate more? Bucky's. Always Bucky's. I never thought Bucky should come back. Marquine knows this. I never thought he should come back. He was the one character I thought should have stayed dead. Jason Todd made sense to me, even because of the way they did it. And Bucky made sense, but I always thought if they brought Bucky back, he should have been like. You found out he never went to sleep. Nothing ever happened, and that he should have been the head of Hydra. That's always, to me, seems unfair to state the '90s Batman movie set because I enjoyed them back in the day, though I saw them in Spanish before I was 10. I never liked them, so yeah. That being in the elite table rig was really amazing. I haven't seen the new being in the elite yet, so but they like breaking the fourth wall, which I think makes it enjoyable. Now, see, if you're talking pen and paper RPG, that's easy. That's Delta Green, which probably nobody has heard of, but which is like X-Files with the military and Cthulhu. It's pretty creepy. It's the real deal. What about Chrono Trigger? Chrono Trigger is amazing. I will not deny that. Deny that. You missed your chance to watch Magic versus the Valiant universe, by the way. Oh, did I? I wonder that you keep saying that that's like some stuff. So thoughts on Dark Souls? Any of them? I've never played any of them, so I know I'm bad. I've never played any of them. I heard they were great though. So just not my cup of tea. Um, yeah, Chrono Trigger is, I would say, out of like that genre of RPGs, it's probably the most complete game, and it's probably the funnest game to play. Even though Final Fantasy 3 or what is it really, Final Fantasy 6 is probably better. So John Morrison was the Eternal Warrior, and he was great. It was cheesy, fan made stuff, but a lot of fun. Oh, that's cool. I could see it being like him being Eternal Warrior would be pretty freaking crazy. Did you play Earthbound? Did I play Earthbound? Yes, I did play. I know. I think I played Earthbound. But I don't think it. I think I liked it a lot, but I don't think it like kept my attention. which RPGs sometimes have a especially like Japanese RPGs have a bad habit. I like I'll get like 15 hours into them and then I get bored with them. I'm not big on doing like games where you have to do a lot of like farming. I'm not big on that, or level farming. I'm not. That's not something I enjoy doing. Plenty Pokemon games. Yes. Played like at least three of them. Well, four, I guess, because I played the original Pokemon, and then I remember playing Pokemon Yellow, just because. So yeah, and of Super Smash Brothers. The game or the tag team? Game's good. Oh, the franchise. Yeah. I mean, there's an old Dreamcast game called Power Stone that I love. It's basically Super Smash Brothers, but yeah, I like it. Besides not Doom, what things could WCW have done differently to compete against the WWF? Um, let's see. Push the talent that was actually getting cheered in the NWO angle much earlier, and yeah, that would be it. What are your thoughts on Nakamura's new theme? I like his theme because I think it needed to be different because he was a heel anyway, so I like it. Thoughts on Shinji game series? I'm sure I know what game series that is, but I can't think of it. Are you interested in Red Redemption 2? I am interested in it. I don't know if I will play it, but I am interested in it. Um, but for me to get it, I will have to get a new game console because I have yeah, I still have a 360 because I don't really play the video games I play on my computer. My computer's pretty dated too, so I just started playing the new BattleTech game. That's awesome, by the way. Um, that's some greatness. So, do you like Joe more than Muda? I do not like Joe more than Muda. Thoughts on John Cena being cast? He perfectly fits Duke Nukem. PC Master Race. PC is the Master Race. Is that what you're saying? I'm old. You have to remember this. Like Steam and yeah, for gaming. Yeah, I need a new computer though because like the new BattleTech game and it's not that graphic heavy. My computer doesn't like it, so I need a new computer. But I'm so what I played of it, I absolutely love it. It's probably my favorite BattleTech game because there's actually some like role play, like real role playing in it. So yeah, and it seems to have like probably the most BattleTech lore in it, which is really cool because BattleTech, you really want to get gamey and geeky. BattleTech probably has just as much lore as Warhammer 40k, and I like it better because it's more like political intrigue, where Warhammer 40k is just all out like just war. Gwenpool, have you heard of her? Yes, because she's basically based on Spider Gwen, which is like the greatest idea that nobody ever had that somebody came up with. Spider Gwen is like an amazing, amazing idea. Because truth be told, I really like strategy games, but I'm not a fan of real-time strategy because I feel like it's more, it's not real strategy, it's more resource management most of the time. So thoughts on Arkham Knight and of the game being Batmobile? Know nothing about that. So, but if the majority of it being in the Batmobile, that doesn't sound too like great to me. Huh. Just 3 times now. I think it's better than multiple viewers. You've seen it 3. I haven't even seen it once. I think my daughter's going to see it before me, so that's going to be like no fun. I think she's going to go see it with a friend of hers. Hear about Cloak and Dagger being made into a, yes, it's going to be made into a TV show. That's actually like 2 characters that would make a really good TV show, even though they've changed it a little bit because their original origin is very like not something you could put on Freeform at all. But Cloak and Dagger are pretty great characters. So yeah, even the majority of the puzzles you need to, that's just stupid. Yeah, not a fan of that. Oh, and Total War Warhammer. I really like that game too. That's like the stuff. Did you ever play Secret of Mana? Yes, I played Secret of Mana. Great, yeah. My one thing with Secret, it wasn't what I expected. I was expecting like a Final Fantasy type game, and of course, that's not really what it is. But I absolutely love that game. That's a really fun like action RPG game. Weird that we still reminisce on wrestling from the late '90s. Maybe not so much if people still watch Seinfeld. Maybe I think people like over like they have like nostalgia like stuff from the '90s because especially wrestling. I will defend ECW, but I will always say ECW was ECW was very much a product of its time. I think the Attitude Era for WWE was very much the same way, but I don't think it's as good as people necessarily remember it. Now the stuff from Japan, I think a lot of it still holds up really well because it's just amazing stuff. I've never played any of those games, so I have no thoughts on them. Though I do want to play them. I think I think I think if I remember right. I think I think was surpassed Gunsmoke a number of episodes. That's cool. I figured they probably would. I mean, you can keep doing Simpsons episodes for forever. So forever and ever and ever. Characters don't age. Um, you know, as long as they keep, you know, throwing out money. So anything I need to see on Backlash, maybe Joe versus Roman. That would be the only thing, Markeem. Nothing else looks good unless you want to watch Daniel Bryan take on Big Cash. Other than that, that's it. Because Big Cash is taking on Daniel Bryan. for reasons that we don't know. So. A legendary would be Kenny Omega to by myself. Actually, it probably wouldn't be that great because their styles are not exactly the same, but it'd probably be really good. Where should they take the MCU? To House of M. That's where they should take the MCU. They're really doing Casper's Day Run. That's a waste of both dudes' time. And Cass will probably win too, Martin. Do you think the ROH title has maintained prestige in the last decade? Championship, in my opinion, lost some luster. I think the problem is because like the guy that had it was always seen as like one of the very best, um, uh, very best um, wrestlers, and I think that hasn't been the case. When I remember when Daniel Bryan left Ring of Honor, I said at the time that I thought that they should start bringing in not Will Ospreay, um, 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 uh, Zack Sabre Jr. Because I thought he would at least be within that, but that's not what they did. So I think that's part of it. I think talent has a lot to do with it. Where Graviton appeared before the end of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Ooh, cool. They brought in Graviton. That's cool. That's cool. Yay, lightning. There's a website to see if Thanos killed you or not. Yes, I saw that. That's pretty funny. I do like these comic book movies, and even shows, but why is there such an overkill of them? Which I mean, so many comic book movies and TV shows in theaters all the time, because it is a new place for people without great ideas on how to make entertainment to find new stories and stuff to make entertainment, and that's why. Why does New Japan keep rebooting Tiger Mask? Because we know #1 will surpass. Why does he keep? Because they've got the rights to it, so they just keep, rebooting it. So that's why. So, as long as they're good, that's fine. How do you think WWE would do with an off season? I don't think it would work. I think people would be like, eh. Summit is better as Tiger Mask. I agree. Or what is he now? He's now like, what's when he puts on the mask, he's what, like King Tiger? Is that what he is? Or what do they call him when he puts on? Thoughts on James Cameron's thoughts on comic movies? I think that a guy who basically ripped off A Man Called Horse, look it up if you don't know what I'm talking about, um, and Dances with Wolves to make his most successful movie, I believe. Because Avatar is his most successful movie. I think it did it top Titanic. I'm pretty sure it topped Titanic. Is pretty funny. Also, the fact that he ripped off all sorts of other movies to make a lot of his other movies, I think it's pretty funny for him to like be upset with comic movies personally. But kind of feel the same way about Steven Spielberg, and Steven Spielberg's my boy. But yeah. Do you think Jim Cornette's rants on current topics like Omega, Joey Ryan are legit, or just him trying to stay relevant? A little bit of both, I actually think. And the storms are coming. The beauty of living in Tornado Alley, folks. Not fun. I'm looking out my basement window, and there's all sorts of nice flashing lights. Were you a fan of Joey Ryan? I thought he was brilliant. I always thought Joey Ryan was pretty good. I thought he was entertaining. Corona or Budweiser? Budweiser. I'm not a big Corona fan. Have you ever seen Jim Cornette's rant on the Greatest Royal Rumble? I have not seen his rant on the Greatest Royal Rumble. Um, it I'm not sure what he would rant about, to be honest. But have you ever been a smoker? I remember you used to talk about. I have never. I am not a smoker. But I have a. So your lungs have a membrane on the inside of them, and hereditarily, my family has like really that like deteriorates for some reason and is weak, and so makes it like if I don't like take medicine or I don't take treatments, yeah, the coughing happens. So Michael Keaton or Michael Douglas? Michael Douglas. I would say Michael Douglas. Let's see. Product recall. Why am I getting a product? Really? Whatever. I get these I get like these like weather reports. That one was not even a weather report. Are we done? Which current WWE wrestlers do you think would be good at transforming into movie acting? I don't know. I don't think any of because whenever you see them in movies, none of them are all that great. Ever seen Alberto Di Montero? I have not. Do you think Titus? Did you? Yes, I did see him slip under the ring. Booker T's comment. Booker T's commentary is horrible. Horrible. It was never. It was never. You know, people forget that. Like, yeah, no, and it's never been good. It's always been horrible. And I like Booker T. Always been horrible. Always been horrible. What caused Davey Richards to lose his momentum and buzz? was. I remember when everyone was calling him Davey Richards because he burnt every bridge he possibly could. That's why. When you start burning bridges, then you don't, you know. For him, that was a big part of it. So there you go. What about Black Snow's commentary? That was wretched. Please don't remind us of that wretchedness. You guys aren't nearly as talkative tonight. What's up with that? Thoughts on Cody calling his Kudo driver Guinea's Fire? I hadn't heard that he'd done that. That's Cody's amazing. If you ever, you know, he's proof that the WWE just has no clue. Because I mean, it's pretty funny. Yes, Marking, people are not as talkative tonight. I don't know what to talk about either. Because, like, if Juice was here, he could yell at me again for bringing up, like, RPG porn, apparently. It's happening? That's cool. That's good to know. That should be fun, I would think. I think everybody's brain cells died somewhat watching TNA. Especially when they do stupid things and you would, like, pound your head and be like, why must you do stupid things? Wrestling isn't hard. Wrestling isn't hard to book. Yeah, they challenged them. That's cool. Do you think Nakamura will win on Sunday? He's currently the betting odds favorite, if that means anything. He could. I mean, it would make kind of sense. Will Keith Lee find success in NXT and the main roster now that he's signed? If he's actually signed, I could see him being kind of a big deal because the fans will go crazy for him because he's got the indie rep. So there you go. Should be on another network. Instead of Pop, they can't get on another network. So what are they going to do? Which would you say is better, ROH during the best years or current New Japan? Current New Japan. Current New Japan is insane right now. People don't realize how good current New Japan is. That's insane. You watch football? A little bit. My brother played like all the way up through high school, and yeah, and I think still plays on the weekends. Have you ever seen Walter versus? I have not. Yeah, well, but what New Japan is doing right now is insane. Is it true that New Japan was very close to going into business years ago? Yes, very close. Brian or Okada? I will probably always be a Brian, Mark, but how crazy is the New Japan? How crazy is it? What do you mean, New Japan reboot? Did you watch the undercard New Japan stuff too, or did you just skip it? No, I watched pretty much all of it, so. Those Enochiism days. People do not understand how bad that was. It's all done. How much will Infinity make at the box office before they leave the theater? I don't know, because I think it depends on how long they leave it in the theater. That's like an issue now, I think. And also, I think it'll be interesting to see if everyone just went and, like, if a lot of people just went and saw it, like, the first week. Not that I expect it to, like, drop like this, but it'll be interesting to see if it just, like, keeps if people will just go back and see it again and again. Would you say current New Japan is your favorite era of wrestling, or would you take 2000 or 1990s All Japan? Out of those three, 1990s All Japan, to be honest, because I think you've had a little bit more variety. Well, let me think about that. No, you know what? No, probably New Japan now, because the thing with All Japan in the 90s was the cards weren't very deep. So, and with New Japan now, you do get pretty deep cards. So, I mean, that's like the level you're at, you know, with and Noah, while good, wasn't, well, when I had like great matches, the cards weren't necessarily like always like awesome. Some of those undercards were like ugh to get through. I would freely say. Thoughts on Will Ospreay? Do you like him, or is he just a flippy guy? I like him. I think he's I don't. I like him a lot, but it's what it is. That's just for the main events, Marquine. Go watch the whole shows. The whole shows were bad. Is Punk versus Joe 2 the best ROH match of all time? Okay, are we counting the Dragon Gate 6-man? Because I don't count that as a ROH match really. Maybe. I really like that match, especially for an hour-long match. It's really, really good stuff. This is true. His like the thing is Ospreay doesn't have to be flippy guy to put on like the best stuff. But I think he falls into like, ooh, let's do flippies. Do you think any movie will beat Avatar's record of highest grossing movie? It's going to be hard, because the thing that people forget is the reason why Avatar got that is because everyone went and saw that in 3D, because you had to go see that in 3D, which helped the movie. So I think that's what's going to make it hard. I mean, I think if you count inflation, I think it's actually what, like number 3, I think. So I mean, there's that. So personally prefer old ROH over premiere stuff. Was the time I just not in the mood for a 40-minute slow drawn out main event. I guess I just prefer mini style. Osprey can be annoying sometimes with the stream. Yeah, that's just true. He does like do the four Mexican luchadors who can do them ponies on a Survivor Series dream match. Santo, yes. LA Park, yes. 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 Who would you book it? What do you mean go? What? What do you mean? You need to ask that again, because I don't get it. Who would you book it? beat them ponies. Got 4 Mexican luchadors who can beat. Oh, let's see. Del Santo. I would put Conan in place of LA Park. That would be my only thing. If Tanahashi was the IWGP title, should he drop the belt to a new star like Sonata or a top guy like Maito or Mega? I think Tanahashi loses and then Okada loses to like a new guy. Nick Cage is like a dude. And I mean that in like the best way. It's like it's just insane. I would love to see him on a bigger stage. Not that we ever would. So, but I love the idea of him being on a bigger stage. WWE set to return to Saudi Arabia in November. Will it be the greatest Survivor Series 50-man elimination tag? That's funny. No, I'm scared it's going to be a War Games match. That's what I'm scared, and then I'm going to be very, very pissed off. Match at a WWE pay-per-view. Well, that's kind of what I just. Who is your favorite comic book writer of all time? My favorite would be Neil Gaiman, who was just on The Big Bang Theory and promoted probably one of the most underrated comics of all time, 1602. That Gage is actually a really nice guy. He used to offer the CCW guys classes back in the day, and Cage is the only one that would ever show up. I believe that. I mean, he seems like he would be like a dude. That's why I kind of would love to see him like on a bigger stage. I think it'd be interesting, especially if you put him like just in like the like how ECW used to use New Jack, or in like a Mankind type role or something. Just kind of your hardcore kind of dude. So yeah, but Markeem, they never should do a War Games, but I have a really bad feeling they're gonna do like War Games at like that November show. I really, really, really think they're gonna do War Games at that November show. Don't ask me why. I have this as soon as they announced it, I was like, fuck. Watch them do War Games at that freaking show so that they can give them something special. Then I'll be really pissed off. Would you watch the new All Japan stuff? They had a lot of. Yeah, I keep meaning to watch it. I hear it's gotten a lot better. So, just saying, Martine, I'm getting you ready. I'm getting you ready because think about it. We're gonna want to have another like special event. What's like what would be like the next special event they could do? You heard anything about how the DJ guys used to have Hayes Tazawa? If so, what did you entail and why did they have it out for him? I've never heard it. I know that I do know that I've heard like the Dragon Gate guys were like do like crazy stuff with hazing and stuff. So I don't know why they would have it out for him though. But Dragon Gate's weird. Thoughts on the Dabars getting death threats from Iran for portraying Iranians getting beat up by Saudis? That's just stupidity, is what that is. Which I find weird because, Sean Davari has been doing that gimmick for forever, so I don't get it. So But it's the Middle East, and the Middle East is a crazy place. So. Heard the rumors for a while now. Quackenbush said that he doesn't know of anyone that was hazed as badly as Tozawa was from the media. Oh wow, that's saying some stuff. Would either title change in the U.S. help in U.S. expansion? Perhaps, but I don't know what match you could do or where you could do that. So. Well, that just adds to all the rest of the Dragon Gate goodness I keep hearing. So, speaking of All Japan, I heard Shingo versus Ishikawa was a match of the year contender. I could believe that. I could believe that very easily. It was one of the most recent episodes of Deep Blue something podcast. He didn't go into much detail about it, though. Does Quack ever talk about the fact that he was always considered like the third best of the three dudes? I always find that funny. I don't know why. How many 4 or 5-star matches per year would promotions from Mexico need to so that they have the attention that they're I think they just need a guy that people want to watch. I think that's more the big thing at us. The jelly to reckless youths. I don't find anything wrong with that. I think that's probably a good thing. Youth was so good. So good. So was Colorado Kid. But yeah, but the thing is, Marquis, most people have no idea who he is or was. I think if ECW had like kept going, I think we would probably know. I think you'd probably see all three of them, to be honest, which is kind of weird when you think about it. Who's it would have been no, it was in Colorado Kid was the other one. Youth did get a WWE tryout and apparently the fans didn't react to him, and so they didn't offer him a contract. I would say Ophidian because most people kind of get Icarus, I would think. I will say with Jakara that this King of Trios looks like it actually might be like fun. Yes, that's what happened to IWA Mid-South, which sucks because the Ted Petty tournament they put on like was so good for the indies. It's not funny. For all of the flack that that Quet gets. He is a good trainer. I will give him props for that. Yeah, the thing is, I don't think people get that those tournaments were like good, like springboards for people, and you really don't have like a big tournament that really does that for people anymore, because Bola. The thing with Bola is more like a all-star tournament, and the TPIs were more like you had a lot of like indie all-stars, but you also had like guys that you never heard of before, and they were allowed to shine a little bit. So huh? What? TPIs what put dudes on? You mean like over? Yeah, I think that was like Punk's big breakout. That was there's a lot of dudes that got like those ice creams is pretty funny. I used to buy the bigger shows myself, or shows that had matches on it that I really wanted to see. I liked some of the strong style tournaments. When they were hot, they did like lots of shows. Ever play what? Versus Juan from Jakara and Tessin. It's the best Jakara match in my opinion. Contra? Yes. Which version of Contra? Contra 1, Contra 2, Super Contra. The first, yeah, I played the first Contra. Played the first Contra in an arcade, actually. I'm old. Is the 2010 one, is that the one that Brian Alvarez saw that he absolutely just despises? Yep, yep. Larry Sweeney is a huge what if. I think the thing is that um, there's so many like what people don't talk about the indies is there aren't like a lot of standout guys anymore. I think that's a big part of it. Yeah, that too. You got this. Though I've the things that like Game Changer does. I think if you actually look at like not their like non WrestleMania weekend stuff, I really think they could do. There's a lot of stuff. They look like they like get it, and they like book the right people and that sort of thing. So from Arn Anderson, that would be pretty funny. Yeah, you basically, I mean, the only dudes you really have are like the Young Bucks and Cody, and you can see them in ROH and in there aren't like the standout guys you have to watch. Do you still watch Riverdale? No, I've watched. I didn't. I watched part of last season. I think it's still really good though. The best Bola in history could be. It would. Never seen Northeast Wrestling. I don't think. I miss storyline heavy indies, though I heard that IWN still do. They do, and so does apparently does Game Changer. Apparently they do story, except for WrestleMania weekend. Apparently they do pretty like a lot of like stuff goes through. I agree. I think the storytelling like indies are really missed. Excuse me. They had a lot of feuds. I wouldn't necessarily say storylines, but they had like a lot of feuds. So It's been the #2 sport for a while, I would say. So you know who Green Lantern fan is? Yes, I'm well aware who he is. Yeah, Tyler Black versus Jar Jar. He was a big stuff. He always said everyone could beat him. You think CZW focusing more on wrestling and doing death matches once every 2 or 3 shows is a good thing? I mean, that I wouldn't say that's their biggest problem. He lacks like the fun that Tyler Black had in the Sniper Butcher. He's doing quite well for himself. I could see that. He's supposedly kind of a smart dude, so I probably saw Necro Butcher back when nobody knew who he was, which is kind of weird. Will it be worth watching boxing this Saturday? I don't know. That was a violent match. I'm not sure why he retired. I think he probably just his body couldn't take it anymore. I mean, I remember seeing him in Houston in like '98, probably. So oh, I just got here and hope you haven't been asked this already, but did you get a chance to... I have not been able to check out MLW yet. I really want to watch it. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, so but I've heard it's been like really good stuff. Nice 5-star match. That match. New Jack matches were just like violent to be violent, though. You ever watch the CML shows that New Japan? Yes. Fantastic Mania? Yeah, those are fun shows. Do you think New Jack could have fit? No. New Jack, no. Okay. TNA 05 versus WWE at the time, which was the better 05? 05 probably TNA was like, yeah, what, yeah, was probably similar wrestler and a great word. Want to know kind of about joking and serious. How is TNA still even surviving? Because they're bought by another company, and they just kind of run bare minimums. I run pay-per-views and I've had one of the best ever. Is the sound messed up? I don't know. Is the sound messed up? Godfather 1 or 2? TNA has 9 lives. They've gone through about 5 of them at this point. Would a Lance Storm versus Kenny Omega match be anything near 5 stars? Probably not, just because, you know, TNA is a joke now. I don't know, TNA is better than it has been from what I've seen, but it's, yeah, it's what it is, which isn't much. Let's see. 10, did you watch Infinity Wars? I have not seen it yet. I will probably not get to see it till next week. It just took them too long to get their shit together. Why does the mainstream put those other comic book artists off to the side and not the second level of standing? Huh? What? Why does the mainstream put whose other comic book artists off to the side and not to the level of Stanley? You need to ask that again, because I don't get what you're asking. I don't think. I don't think. I don't know. Why does the management... Do you agree with Austin's decision of not jobbing with NMT? Austin said he regrets it. So did he make the... I think he regrets how he... Not that he refused to job to Lesnar. I think he regrets walking out instead of jobbing to Lesnar. I think that's the thing. Because if you think about it, but he was probably right. Those other comic book artists ahead of Stanley. Because he wasn't a comic book artist. He was a writer. Thoughts on Stanley's ex-business manager stealing his blood to sell and Marvel cans? That's insanity. I don't get put on the same or at least similar level. I've not been watching 205 Live. I don't like... While all that's on TV, I am at work. So I now work nights, which suck. I basically work 10-hour shifts from 6 to 4 or 6 to 5. So yeah. Yes, I'm under a tornado watch, I believe. 10-hour shifts are crazy. Yeah, but I don't have to work 4 days a week, so will be uploaded on the WWE network. I could see that. Which is your favorite territory from back in the day? Would probably be Mid-South, I would say. I really like Mid-South. What came first, the chicken or the egg? The chicken. It's good as hell, believe it or not. Everyone says that 205 Live has like gotten so much better. It's like insane. It's not actually... Yes, but Trips took over, but do you know who's actually booking it? That's why it's gotten better. World Class Championship or AWA? Which was better? World Class. AWA was pretty boring. Yes, they own pretty much everything. Depends. We'll know in like ask me in like 2 weeks, because then you'll know if it was a blessing in disguise or not. Burger or pizza? Pizza. I wonder if Vince owns the library of East of it, or if that's no. They own the supercards. They just have not. They own the whole library. They just have not. They just won't upload the supercards for some reason. Watch it. I did not watch Greatest Royal Rumble, so Vince has that stuff too, I think. Yes, he does. Do you agree with Johnny Carano being a 5-star match? I didn't like it that much. I thought that part of it kind of like that. Chess or Chinese checkers? Chinese checkers. You mean Jeff's botch too? Gender could have improved that better though. Do you think there are any theme shows like how GCW? Yeah, I'm getting like weird messages. That's why I'm multitasking. Like how had one for Riddle. Do you think one indie should? Do you think? Yes, I definitely think so. I definitely think so. Wrestle War, and do you think it would even work to Wrestle War? No, not really. I mean, if you, I don't know. When to review who did Thanos make his rich. Maybe if I've seen it by then. Jeff went for Whisper in the Wind, completely missed, and hits the mat. Gender falls like it hit him, and it wasn't even close. Yeah, that's no good. Or that one where they did 3 rings together. Oh, World War III? Fuck, they should never do World War III. World War III is shit. Shit. Way too hard to follow. Way too hard to follow. it's a like an awesome idea, and but then when you see it try to be executed, it's like we should never do this again, and they kept doing it. I like 2006 better. It's a better show. 2005 though was more the ECW show with all its faults. I mean, it's an ECW show with all of its faults. So. No idea if Big Rat will ever make wrestling videos again. You'd have to ask Big Rat. In a few months, the dollar's going to devolve like shit. Did you just say 2007? Yes, it's a better show. 2005. The 2005 One Night Stand is more the ECW show. Those two main events in 2006 are awesome matches. I Quit match would work. Someone asked that earlier how they should end it. Someone else said a Hell in a Cell. So I love that match. I love RVD versus Cena. That's just a fun match. No, but King of the Ring could definitely work if they actually did it right, but they don't know how to do it. I do not watch Colbert. No, I don't know much about the Quebec wrestling territory. No. What? The 2005 show is fun, and the 2000 is more of an ECW pay-per-view. But as far as an overall pay-per-view, I like 2006 better. I never saw Stampede Wrestling because I could never like watch Stampede Wrestling. So yes. Probably the next 5 years, yeah. But have you been watching the tour? If so, what are your thoughts? I've watched most of the stuff, but I will say that I think the tour overall, I think it's been a tour. I think it's had some like great matches. It's had some like stuff. It's definitely like, here's a really cool tour. Oh, by the way, our really big show is like beyond this. That's kind of how I feel about it. So yes, it was an ECW show. Oh, stop that. I've always said I like that show better, so I don't know where you've been. That would be funny. That would be funny. Four teams of five, yeah. Raheem, you know they're going to do something crazy. You know they're going to do something crazy for that show. So they're getting apparently $20 million a year. So, or yeah, like right, yeah, or 20 million. It's either 20 million a year or 20 million a show. So I like leaving it as is. I might do it again. I might explain what it is. So this will be an annual show now, I think now. Yes. Yes, Marquine. They paid him like $200 million to basically be a commercial for Saudi Arabia. You don't need a 6-tier cage. You just need to do what War Games 2000. You could bring that monstrosity back. Yeah, they're doing another show in it. So yeah, and they're paying them a lot of money. So yeah, so it's going to be a big deal. I would have had him won too, but they gave it to Braun Strowman. So what's your favorite War Games match? Mine personally would have been Steve. That's mine too. That represents greatest gauntlet match, 100 men. I could see that, though. Joey Janela, we were griping about the clusterfuck match. He was like, "We'll just do it like for like 3 hours. The whole show will just be a clusterfuck match." So, which WWE would you put in a War Games match? I would see if I booked a War Games match, I'd be kind of weird. I wouldn't just put a bunch of stars. I would like actually have like Goldust, like want to be in the match as Dustin, since he's the only one that's been in a War Games match, like classic War Games match. So I would have him in it. Or I would do an angle. So you gotta do angles. That's the thing. Where it would be like, I would have like Triple H's group versus another group, and um, I'd have like Triple H and like a bunch of like guys for him, and then I'd have like Cena. Ultimately, if we're gonna like really like, I would do like um, Cena, AJ, Joe. Cena, AJ, Joe. Um, Cena, AJ, Joe. I'm missing somebody. Who is this? Cena, AJ, Joe. Oh, Daniel Bryan. That's who I'm missing. Yes, Bryan. And then Daniel Bryan. And then you announce that it's going to be uh, Brock Lesnar. But then Brock Lesnar, like, winds up not being on that team. He ends up being on like Triple H's team as like a surprise. So like the other team's down 4, and the last guy is Punk. And so you have a team of Punk, Joe, Bryan, Cena, and AJ. Yes, I'm fantasy booking. Probably because the death matches in CZW didn't mean anything. No, I don't think so. What time is it? Oh, don't even like joke about that. Because, believe it or not, you find this monstrosity. This match, I'll put it in. Actually put it in the chat so you guys, because you guys won't believe me. That match happened, or that show happened. Will the exit bill be successful this time around? No. The feud's been going on forever. I don't know if we'll ever get someone in that. They should have done Sasha and Bailey at WrestleMania. I don't know why they're not like. I don't know why they're holding off on doing it, but it's what they do. So. I've seen the whole show. It took me like 2 days, I think. But there's a lot of those early shit matches that are shit. I will just put that out. I think that was a show Dave was there live for too. I think he watched like the whole thing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's that one. Best King of the Death matches? I don't know if you've never seen like the original one with from IWA Japan. That one's actually pretty good. Developmental contract. That's funny. I said it's maybe a little bit, but I mean the thing is, if he gives you a good review, it you know could be it could get you hot. So I get why they do. What is all that? They don't. They're like, hey, I'm getting paid. Who cares? No, Joe Shamania was actually pretty good. It just didn't make any money. That was the problem. But then again, didn't like it too. Probably a DDT match because DDT does crazy, wild, stupid shit like that. Blah 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 blah. I don't know. Did you ever see the 666 show, Markeen? That was pretty ridiculous. That was up there with anything I've ever seen from. But see, I could see that being like the greatest final deletion. I could see that actually happening when you just had like a bunch of dudes just show up and like weird stuff happen. Not really. I mean, I don't always get the comedy, but I don't really. It doesn't. If you're really old school, then like, then the comedy stuff's fine because it's just it's a different type of match. Speaking of deletion, so are they gonna push men? Maybe unless they push Ziggler and McIntyre instead. 10 hours. That would be painful. In gimmick and not be near the top of the card. No, I agree. That's part of the thing is you have to, he has to get pushed hard. I hope they like draw out the Bray and Matt thing. Like I say, Rebby should wind up being Sister Abigail. I think that would be like that would so fit the storyline. It would be kind of funny. Well, not funny, but craziest gimmick match you've ever seen. Today you had a fans bring the dildos match. Death 1 year. No, the craziest thing I've ever seen would be anytime that DDT has had the blow up doll match. That's like the craziest thing. Or any of the exploding death matches from CZ or from FMW. FMW also had a like an exploding pool match of some sort. So did FMW. That finished the H and Mr. I can't think of his name. I'm sure Marquine probably knows. The H versus Hayabusa's. Do you think EC3 can be a top star? He's limited in the ring, amazing on the mic, and can really control the crowd. Maybe we have to see him in front of like a lot of people, but I think there's a possibility. Okay, it's 10. 45ers. Didn't they do Piranhas one time? I think they did. I think they did do Piranhas. I mean, I know they did Piranhas on what was the MTV show. They did Fakey Piranhas on that. Should have a real developmental brand. I think they should have a real developmental brand too. But you tell some people that, and they go, "Well, they do. It's NXT." NXT and a developmental brand. Wrestling Side Yes. Yes, Wrestling Side WSX. What's the craziest I've ever used in a wrestling match? Weed Whacker, probably. Wrestling Society X, or as I like to call it, Lucha Underground Season 0. Nope, nobody got it. I still have the DVD somewhere here. Especially if you watch the DVD and it's got the stuff from the it makes so much more sense when you watch the stuff that was on the website. No, he just got old. I don't really listen to a lot of podcasts. I mean, I listen to the Observer stuff, and I listen to the Voices of Wrestling stuff. I think soon-ish, I think, is when Ambrose is coming back. Perhaps, yeah, he went off. He like it was. I got mad because he went off like the night before I was gonna go off, so it was like, ick. Because he watched the show, and apparently, if you watch the show, it was even worse than I thought it was gonna be. So, but a live Lucha Underground show, it possibly could work. You'd have to build up to it. So. Should Brian resign with the WWE in September? No. I'm going to say no. I don't think he should. I think he should just go on his merry way. Also, do you think they have to be PG to get a family audience when Marvel does PG-13 to keep everybody happy? It's because they've got like deals with like what's what their sponsors want. You can still do PG and still be good. That's not a that has nothing to do with them not being good. They just don't know how to do anything good is the problem. It's on intergender wrestling, and do you think it's being forced on the indie scene lately? I'm not a big fan of intergender wrestling. Um, it worked in Chikara, and it works in Chikara, but most of the time I'm always like, eh, when I see it. So, do you even care about putting on a great? I don't think they care about putting on a great product because as long as people keep the TV stations keep as long as they keep getting the TV money, there's no reason for them to care about putting on a great product. Thoughts on Batista's latest interview about WWE? I haven't read all of it, but it sounded pretty crazy. When ladies are defined. Doesn't PG limit what the WWE does, or is that's a very big misconception? I mean, the only thing that it does, it means no blood, really. But it doesn't really limit on what they can and can't do. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah, they were very much PG, and they were fine. Yep. It's very weird, but yeah. But I was different though. I mean, they that was. They're going to announce it probably in September, I believe. Yes, that would be like, well, or him just being in, because if he goes, it would be like him in CMLL, ROH, and New Japan. You know, I don't think that he'd be. He probably doesn't care about it, but yeah. But if he all of a sudden went to New Japan and the New Japan started drawing, like big giant U.S. well in the U.S., then yeah, I'm sure he'd be like, do you stay with the USA Network? I think they're moving to Fox, which may make everything better anyways, because then you're not having 3 hours of horrible Raw. Yeah, I would. No, Fox would be on. I think I think it would be on FS1. Might be on FX, but I think FS1. I think I think the big promo should be in ring. I think the like little like promos should all be backstage. Yeah, I kind of agree. I mean, we've seen Stephanie work before, so it's not like that impressive, but I think she got way too much offense in to be fair. Wrestling on primetime TV and not on cable. I haven't seen that since SmackDown was on UPN. Yes, Bryan versus Matt Riddle would be awesome. Unless Bryan like leaves and then they bring in Matt Riddle to NXT. No, I agree. I think they have way too many matches. Or at least I think you can have matches, but you need to have more like the singles guys need to have like tag teams and six mans, and the tag team guys can have like your single matches, so you're not running through matches like it's like going out of style. The new venue looks cool, so that looks good. Why do you think? Okay, I get he says that, but the whole reason he's signed with Evolve is because of WWE. Trust me, if WWE changed their policy on pot, all of a sudden he would be in WWE. That's no secret. If it was like in LA or Houston, I would think it would work. Or I think they run shows in. Don't they run shows every once in a while in San Antonio? I think San Antonio would probably work. Um, um, uh, uh, Somewhere like that. In the near future, I will say no. Not in the near future. In the future, but probably not the near future. I think so. He could be. I mean, he's got the size, so he could be. Was it just a match where they just keep like everyone keeps coming down and just sliding up under the ring? I like Walter a lot. Backslide pins only match. That would think about. We talk about Danielson at WrestleMania, and that shit actually happened. And it was exactly how we said it would be. Would Nick Cage be great in Bloodsport? Yes. There's so many Nick D. After watching, I watched Bloodsport, and then I was like, I want this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. There's so many people I'd love to see for this Irish Whip match. How about a greatest running the ropes match? No, I could see you doing it. I mean, Ring of Honor did that for a while, and it didn't really work. I mean, it worked for a while, but where am I at here? The guy from 411 Mania. It's pretty fun too. I mean, it was weird. You had like Nick Cage and stuff. So probably same place it is now for the most part, maybe. All right, it's 1 o'clock. I gotta go. So I appreciate everybody coming. I appreciate all the questions, all of that stuff. Be back next week. Have a good one.